Claude Code, Codex, Cursor. AI coding tools are getting really good, and the models behind them keep getting better every few months. They can build features, fix bugs, write tests, navigate a code base, use the terminal, and increasingly build entire small projects with surprisingly little help. Which creates a pretty uncomfortable question if you are thinking about learning programming today. Why spend months or years learning to code when AI can already write so much of the code for you? So in this video, we'll find out whether programming is still worth learning in 2026, who should still learn it, who probably doesn't need to, how AI is changing programming jobs, and what I would learn if I were starting today. Because if all you want to do is build a simple website, automate something, or create a small personal app, you may not need to learn programming the way people did 5 years ago. But if you want to become a software engineer, that's a very different story. This isn't really about AI writing functions anymore. You can give a coding agent a new project, describe what you want, and watch it create files, install dependencies, build features, run tests, fix some of its own mistakes, and keep going. For smaller projects, you can sometimes go from an idea to working software without writing much code yourself. That was not normal a few years ago, and it changes the question completely. If AI can do that much of the implementation, what exactly are you learning programming for? Well, the job market gives us the first part of the answer. Let's be honest, getting your first programming job is harder than it was during the tech hiring boom, and the junior level seems to be taking the biggest hit. Pave looked at hiring data from more than 8,600 companies and found something interesting. Overall, the share of new hires going into software engineering actually increased by around 18%. But inside software engineering, the share going to entry-level and junior developers fell by almost 28%. So companies still want software engineers, they just seem to need fewer beginners to produce the same amount of code. And you can see why AI might be part of that. Boilerplate, basic tests, simple bug fixes, and small features used to be exactly the kind of work you could give to a junior developer. Now, a senior developer with a coding agent can get through a lot of that work much faster. AI isn't the only reason the market changed. The tech industry also went through huge pandemic-era hiring, followed by layoffs and a major correction. But it is hard to ignore where the pressure is showing up. So does that mean learning programming is becoming a bad career choice? But here's where things get interesting. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics currently projects traditional computer programmer jobs to shrink by about 6%. Software developer jobs, they're expected to grow by around 16%. And BLS actually points to automation, including AI, as one reason repetitive programming tasks are becoming easier to automate, while higher skilled work shifts toward software developers. That distinction is important. The job that is mostly about writing the code is under pressure. The job that is about understanding the problem and building the software is still expected to grow. Because writing code is only one part of software engineering, somebody still has to decide what should be built, how the pieces should work together, why the application keeps breaking, whether the AI solution is secure, whether it will still work when thousands of people start using it, and whether the software actually solves the original problem. AI is making it faster and cheaper to produce code, but producing code and understanding software are not the same thing, and I think that difference answers most of this video. It depends entirely on what you want to do. Let's say you want to build a portfolio website, or automate some boring work, or create a small personal app. Honestly, I would not tell you to stop everything and spend 6 months learning programming before you start. Open an AI coding tool, build the thing, learn what you need as you go. AI has lowered the barrier to building software, and that is a good thing. You do not need to become a software engineer just to make a landing page. And if you just want to test a business idea, AI can now get you surprisingly far without deep programming knowledge. But if your goal is to become a software engineer or build serious software for real users, then yes, you should still learn programming. Because sooner or later, the AI is going to give you something that looks correct and isn't. And that is where knowing how software works becomes much more important than knowing how quickly you can type it. And I'm curious where you stand on this. Do you think AI will reduce the number of software engineers or just change what software engineers do? Let me know in the comments. This might be the biggest trap for people learning today. AI makes it incredibly easy to build something you do not understand. You can ask an agent for a backend, watch hundreds of lines appear, run the application, see that it works, and think, I get this. But do you? Bears Dev surveyed developers in 2026 and found a huge gap in how juniors and seniors answered that question. 85% of junior developers said AI had improved their understanding, but only 16% of senior developers said juniors fully understood the AI-generated code they submitted. That is a massive difference. And this is the danger. AI can make you feel productive before you are actually good at the thing you are doing. Everything feels easy while the app works. The real test starts when it doesn't, when there is a security problem, when the database starts behaving strangely, when the AI fixes one bug and creates another, or when you ask why the system was built this way and realize you don't know. Somebody has to recognize when the generated code is wrong, and you cannot reliably review something you fundamentally do not understand. So the better AI becomes at writing code, the less valuable it may be to memorize syntax, but the more valuable it becomes to understand what that code is actually doing. Which leads to the most practical question: how should you learn programming when AI can already do so much of it for you? I would not learn programming like AI does not exist, but I also would not let AI do everything for me. I would have two different modes. When I am learning, I would write small things myself. Pick one language. Python or TypeScript are both good places to start, depending on what you want to build, and stop worrying about finding the perfect language. Learn variables, functions, basic data structures, and how programs actually flow. Then learn the things real applications depend on: Git, APIs, databases, testing, and, most importantly, debugging. When something breaks, don't immediately ask the AI to replace the whole thing. Try to understand why it broke. Use AI like a tutor. Ask it to explain unfamiliar code. Ask for a hint. Ask it why one solution is better than another. But sometimes do the thinking yourself. Then when I am building, I would do almost the opposite. Use Claude Code. Use Codex. Use Cursor. Let the agent create boilerplate, write tests, search the codebase, refactor things, and handle repetitive work, because knowing how to work with these tools is now part of being a developer. The goal is not to prove you can write code faster than an AI. You can't. The goal is to understand enough that the AI makes you more capable instead of making you helpless without it. And there is another reason I would not let the agent do everything. A lot of programming skill comes from struggling, from spending 2 hours debugging something stupid, from breaking something and figuring out why, from making a bad decision and learning what made it bad. If AI removes every difficult moment, it may also remove some of the moments that actually make you better. So use AI to build faster. Just don't use it to avoid learning. And instead of building 20 tutorial projects, build 1 or 2 real things you understand from top to bottom. Deploy them. Let people use them, break them, fix them. That experience is going to teach you much more than watching another 10-hour programming course while an AI writes every exercise for you. If all you want is to turn a simple idea into working software, maybe you do not need to learn programming in the traditional way anymore. AI has made it possible to build useful things without becoming a programmer first. And that is genuinely exciting. But if you want a career building software, then yes, I would absolutely still learn programming. I just would not spend my time trying to become better than AI at typing code or memorizing syntax. I would learn how software works, how to break down a problem, how to debug it, how to recognize when something is wrong, and then I would use AI for everything it does better than me. Because the valuable skill is no longer just writing the code. It is knowing what should be built, how it should work, and whether the AI actually got it right. AI is making programming easier. It is not making understanding software useless. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more AI and tech content. And I'll see you in the next one.